There is a disturbing new tactic for ransomware attacks where cybercriminals are soliciting the help of disgruntled employees to infect critical systems. Now, think about that for a moment. Insiders are already a serious risk, but a partnership with organized ransomware cybercriminals? Well, that may be a catastrophic combination that could blindside organizations with costly cybersecurity incidents. Abnormal Security recently reported an attempt by cybercriminals to solicit the assistance of disgruntled employees to infect their organization with ransomware, and they would then get a percentage of the payments that would be shared with those internal collaborators. Now, this is a novel attack method for ransomware, but in this case, not really a serious play. Well, at least not yet. This specific attack was amateurish and not really well thought out. The attacker was certainly not a cybercrime professional. But the idea might prove valuable to more organized ransomware crews who can set up the right infrastructure to easily engage and onboard willing participants, similar to how they've done with ransomware as a service, which enables non-technical individuals to readily become an affiliate to distribute ransomware and earn a percentage of the take. The threat vector in this case is really around trusted insiders who might be disgruntled enough to directly or indirectly take action for revenge or personal gain. It can include employees, contractors, interns, also business partners, suppliers, and third-party vendors, as they also have some level of trust and access to people, resources, and assets. Those who are disgruntled are potentially willing to lash out at their organizations. And some of the situations might include an employee who's mad at a boss or other coworkers, whenever someone is being fired or disciplined. Employees who experience or perceive inequality or abuses that build up over time that are seemingly being allowed to happen or ignored by management. How about times when people vehemently disagree with the political or business practices of the organization? And for those wanting to report unethical or unhealthy situations, being frustrated with ineffective internal reporting capabilities, this may become an alternative to external whistleblowing where they get a financial benefit. And lastly, unhappy business partners or third-party vendors, perhaps disputing settlements or a contract ending with undesired terms. All of these situations can create unwanted insider actions where somebody is trying to get revenge or do harm or cause some type of incident to happen. And in that moment, they may be very open to such a service like this, to be able to use them to infect their organization and then get a piece of that potentially multi-million-dollar extortion. So the reported attempt itself that was showcased by Abnormal Security, again, it was by an amateur, but a professional ransomware organization, again, may be inspired by this and may want to tap into the potential avenues of infecting big targets for huge ransoms. This could be an emerging threat avenue. And here's my prediction. I believe that there will be professional cybercriminals. They're going to explore this avenue, and they're going to create automated tools for disgruntled employees to vent their frustration and potentially gain a financial benefit in the process. And again, it's going to be very similar to ransomware as a service, except this is going to be more of a revenge, retaliation, retribution as a service. And they're going to craft in, by design, certain capabilities. First off, they're going to make it easy and anonymous. Secondly, they're going to design a program to make sure that the risks of the insider being caught are low. Next, they're going to appeal to participants with high rewards, especially those who have felt that they've been slighted in some way financially from their organizations. They didn't get that raise, or they're being fired, or that contract wasn't fulfilled. And lastly, they're definitely going to act in ways to justify and appeal to the emotional state of these insiders. Again, insiders who want to cause harm aren't always that way. It tends to be a moment in time where things build up or things erode to a certain point. And that's what the attackers are going to target. They're going to look for that moment in time where there's weakness, where there's moral flexibility. That's what their system is going to be designed to do. And trusted insiders, they've always had the ability to access the most sensitive systems and valuable data, either directly or indirectly. And that's why insiders are such a big risk. Now, these insiders, they're going to have a good idea of how to maximize ransomware impacts in ways that compel the payments for the extortion. Now, the risks of insiders, they are real. There are huge potential issues here. And a partnership with cybercriminals, well, that could amplify it. It certainly would amplify the risks. So what do organizations need to do? First, understand your current insider security processes and controls. See if they are actually in place and being worked, whether they're effective. Second, revisit your insider risk assessments to understand if the risks might change with this new threat vector. And if so, what do you have to do to mitigate it to get back to that acceptable risk level? Third, work proactively to identify unhappy employees, unhappy insiders, and provide them the tools to escalate issues so that it can be addressed and diffuse situations that could cause severe unhappiness or sow the seeds of revenge. Fourth, reinforce compartmentalization and need-to-know access controls. Put those technical controls and process controls in place so that people only have access to really what they need and they can't reach out easily to cause harm. Fifth, tighten up your last day office processes and disgruntled employee processes to mitigate risks. So if you know someone's unhappy or you know you're going to be walking people that could be explosive out the door for their last day, make sure you've got the processes to limit their access, remove their access as soon as possible, protect critical assets. Sixth, strengthen ransomware prevention and response capabilities. And that can go across many different programs, many different policies, many different tools. But look at ransomware in this new light. In many cases, people put protective controls kind of at the outside, at the network, at the barrier. But start thinking about these and go, wait a second, if somebody's on the inside and they have a good ability to move laterally because they're a trusted employee or vendor, you better have the prevention and the response capabilities to be able to deal with that. And as part of that, do a tabletop exercise where ransomware is introduced by a disgruntled employee, partner, or vendor, and see how your controls can mitigate the risk, how fast you detect, and what you can do to respond to be able to limit the damage and recover quickly. Insiders are already a serious risk to every organization out there. But a partnership with organized ransomware cybercriminals, that could be a catastrophic combination, making a bad situation just explosive. Organizations should revisit their insider security structures and align to industry best practices. Anticipate potential challenges if severely resentful employees or former employees are lured into illicit activities that could distribute ransomware within the organization. Don't be surprised. Be prepared.